Wine and Crime contains graphic and explicit content which may not be suitable for some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Right. You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents.
Oh, gal.
Or maybe Irish accents.
Look at the Irish.
Fully prepared.
Oh, gosh.
I'm not.
Oh, I'm Kenyon.
I'm Lucy.
Amanda's shocked. That I remember.
I'm shocked. Top of the muffin to you. I'm Amanda.
Oh, amazing. We have a very special gals pick this week. Brought to you by motherfucking us.
Thanks to us.
Thank you, us.
Special thanks to us, because we had the clever and unique and never been done before idea to do a St. Patrick's Day themed episode.
That we didn't even go back and make sure we hadn't done exactly the same thing prior.
We probably have. It's been several years of this podcast, but who's to know?
Who cares?
We're burnt out, okay?
So, our very special topic this week is Luck of the Irish.
Ooh, luck of the Irish.
Lassie.
Oh. Shamrocks and leprechauns.
Oh, no.
Potato.
No. I do love a good potato, though.
I love a good stew at the end of the day.
I love a hot stew.
Just potatoes and soda bread.
Oh, I love Irish fucking soda bread. Fresh out of the oven with some Kerrygold butter.
Oh,
Blood
Kerrygold.
Blood pudding. Ish.
Ew,
Well,
yeah.
I assume we'll get to it.
I know. And I know that, like, doing Irish accents, some people find it problematic. Look, it's done.
Fitzgerald.
We're very ethnically Irish. Not Amanda, but Lucy and me.
Very
And
I
pale.
might have a little Irish in me.
Who
You're
knows?
French Canadian, okay?
And
Just
Swedish.
deal with it.
And it's all done with love. And also, we make fun of every accent.
Oh, yeah.
Every accent, including our own actual accents.
Oh, yeah.
So please
Yeah, mostly
just
our own.
take it with a grain of salt.
Put a pinch of
grain
salt
of-
on your stew.
A grain of potato.
A salted potato.
Dice it up with your potatoes and shove it up your arse.
Should we just spend the
Thank you.
rest of the episode reading Angela's ashes out loud?
So
Kenyon.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comedy.
Lots of crimes and just death. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's get to our wine crime pairing for Luck of the Irish.
Listen, I wanted to get weird with it today, and I wanted to get drunk, and I refuse to get whiskey drunk because that will only serve to harm me.
Yeah.
You'll waste your whole day tomorrow.
You're
I
already
mean-
depressed enough.
Yeah, and the heartburn, I can't. So I went in a totally different direction and have paired today's episode with House of Luck Junmail Kyoto Sake.
What the fuck?
Sake.
That's
Courtesy.
worse than tons.
It's better. It's got luck in it.
What
Yeah,
the luck?
Courtesy of our friends at Winc Wine Club.
They have
Are they
sake?
Yes, they just added 2 of them.
Wow.
Yeah. And if you don't know about our friends over at the Winc Wine Club,
Amanda's Irish accent.
it's so bad.
Maybe too good.
It's not good.
I
It's
love
not
it.
good. Check them out. You can go to trywink.com/gals and get $20 off your first order. This is an online wine club that delivers wine and now sake to your door. It's amazing. They add a bunch of cool new stuff every season, and I was checking out wine pairings for the upcoming season, and I saw 2 different bottles of sake that they're offering. I got both of them. And I'm pairing House of Luck today, but I can't wait to dive into the other one that I got. It's stunning. It's gorgeous. I can't even wait. I'm so excited.
also there's such a huge variety of different kinds of sake. So like if you've had sake like one time before and didn't enjoy it, like
it probably
don't write
wasn't
off.
very good. Yeah.
It was probably just bad sake, and doesn't mean you hate all sake. Like there are some really great ones out there.
Sake is so delicious. I worked at a sake brewery for a while, and it was like one of my favorite jobs. So cool. But specifically, the House of Luck sake from Winc, like many sakes, carries an umami characteristic. Now, some people can get really scared off by umami because some folks really don't like it. I don't find umami to be super prominent in a lot of sake. Like, it's very subtle, so it's not overwhelming. But the presence of umami makes it incredibly food friendly. So this is a classic to pair with Japanese food, but because House of Luck is made in a bolder style, it's also a great match with any, like, I guess umami rich, but like savory cuisine. So cheeses, like mature, stinky cheeses, meats, tomato-based pasta dishes, like takeout, a cheeseburger covered in pickles, like all of the things that we like.
Potato
A
with
potato.
sour cream.
With sour cream.
Some ashes of Angela.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Maybe
Human meat.
Some corned beef.
Oh, fuck, I love corned beef. Corned beef. Yum. House of Luck is a Junmail, which translates to pure sake. It just like speaks to how filtered and like filtered out and clear and not cloudy it is. It's made with only rice, water, and koji, which is a delicate and specially grown rice mold for fermentation. And hidden beneath the first taste of cooked rice are layers of aromatics that may seem more familiar, like ripe tropical and white fruit, cacao, and caramel notes that come through. And the richness provides a lush counterpoint to the umami. So you're not going to get like umami blasted in the mouth. The result is a sake.
You gotta swallow it.
Unless
You
you
got
ask
to.
nicely.
Unless you ask nicely, without consent. The result is a sake that is refined, but still retains power and body. And it's a cracker. So shall we crack?
Yes, let's do it. Also, I love whenever Amanda chooses to pair sake, she's gonna get.
I'm going to get
Lit.
drunk. Also, I got really excited and cracked it while you were talking.
Sorry. I kinda
So nice crack.
Nice
Nice.
crack. I'm sorry
My
I talked
bad.
over it. I was just excited
That's
you're gonna
okay.
get really drunk.
That was a bonny crack.
It's a bonny crack.
You guys
I
are
think,
mixing a lot of Scottish in there. It's
Yeah,
fine.
whatever.
well, I think I remember learning when I worked at Moto E that it's actually unlucky to pour your own sake, but like, whatever. I'm going to call on the luck of the Irish.
Babe, babe,
Bam.
can you pour my sake?
He literally is home. I could have just had him do it, but it's too late. Look how it looks like water. Oh, cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers. I have literal
Oh,
water.
fuck yeah. All right, well, this whole bottle's going to be gone.
God. Uh-oh.
I'm about to be
What's the ABV?
drunk. That's a good
That's the ABV.
question.
Drunk. D-runk.
13.5%. It's not
Oh,
it's not
all right.
completely wild, but sake does something.
It
Sake
packs a
it to me,
punch.
baby. It gets me.
It
All
sure
right.
does.
Well, cheers.
Love
All
ya.
right.
Cheers, ya bonny lasses.
Lucy. I can't. I lost it. What? I lost it. It's gone.
Lucy.
Lucy.
I have to start with potato.
Potato.
Lucy.
Regale us with a tale of a bonny potato.
Yeah. Slash, what's our background and maybe psych for Luck
Bonny
of the Irish?
potato.
Cuddle up here and bring me a bonny potato.
Wander over the peat bog.
Oh, the peat. Oh, for Pete's sake.
Bless the Pete.
The hounds of the Baskervilles.
Not
Release
in
the
Ireland.
hounds. Not in Ireland.
My latest exposure to an Irish accent
Conan
was
O'Brien.
Oh, I love me some Conan O'Brien.
my latest exposure to an Irish accent was from Daisy, the chief stew on Below Deck, because she's from Dublin.
Oh.
And you don't screw the crew.
Oh. Wow.
Nice. I
Mind
watched
the guests.
Breaking Ned Divine. in preparation for this episode.
God,
I
that
love
little
that
butt.
movie so much.
I know. It's every single frame of that movie is perfection. It's so good. I think I might rewatch it again.
Do it.
Why not?
What was the movie where someone was growing a bunch of weed and like the whole village like kind of corralled around this woman to like let her keep her weed, and then the authorities like found it and set it all on fire, so it just got the whole town really stoned.
I don't know,
Oh.
but I'm going to need to see that.
It'll
It
come
sounds
to me.
familiar. It also makes me. I know. I don't think this is Irish. I almost said I know, but I now I realize no, I don't. Calendar Girls
So good. That's what I was thinking about.
and the Full
So good.
Monty, obvi.
Yeah, so good. And also, this is Welsh. We're just mixing it all up. Whatever. The Irish people are cringing right now.
Little Voice. Are you going to say Little Voice?
Oh, I love Little Voice.
Yeah.
I don't know if
but
I know that.
I would. Oh, so you would love
Little
it. It's so
Voice.
good. Michael
Little
Caine.
Voice.
Anyway, so good. No, the Englishman who went up a hill but came down a mountain.
That's
It's
the
with-
name of the movie?
Yeah, the Englishman
wow.
who went up a hill but came down a mountain. It's based on a true story. It takes place in Wales. Sorry, not Ireland at all. And it's with Hugh Grant.
Okay,
Nice.
Anyway, we're just ranting about cute movies.
we're Hugh
now.
Granting right now.
Also, the movie about the lady growing weed is called Saving Grace.
Oh,
and it takes
Shaving
place in
Grace.
Cornwall, wherever that is.
That's
She
in
needs to be
England.
shaved.
Okay.
All right, Shaving Grace, Calendar Girls. We're
Add
set
it
for
to
a
the
while.
list.
Little
yeah.
Voice.
Little Voice.
Little Voice.
Edelweiss.
That's my Irish accent. Okay.
Well,
Anyway, are we done?
yeah.
Well, it'll come
Have
back.
we got it out of our
Special
systems?
thanks.
We'll just pop up when more come to mind.
Oh yeah.
Come to the top of mind.
Dairy Girls. All right, go on.
Ugh.
Okay, so I did my research on. I took it quite literally. So I did my research on the phrase, the luck of the Irish.
Great.
Okay, great.
I love it.
So the word luck is Middle Dutch in origin, coming from luc, a shortening of geluk, which means happiness or good fortune. Luck may have been borrowed into English in the 15th century as a gambling term.
Oh.
Also, the phrase "SOL," shit out of luck, originated during World War One.
That
Okay.
makes sense, I think.
I think it was like, it was slang, and I think it kind of developed from like all the games of cards that they just kind of had to sit around and play. Your SOL. Some related words are potluck, which is now mostly associated with a meal consisting of whatever your guests have brought, but it
Yum.
originally meant what may chance to be in the pot in provision for a meal, hence a meal at which no special preparation has been made for guests. So
Oh, so
potluck.
like people just like show up and you're like, well, this is what I've
Whatever
got
we
going
got.
on the stove.
Yep, potluck.
All right.
So hopefully
I
you're
like
lucky
that.
about what's in the pot.
Hopefully it's not human meat.
Potato
really
peels.
old. Potato peels. Also, the word mascot, which I didn't realize had anything to do with luck, it means a thing supposed to bring good luck to its possessor, a person whose presence is supposed to be the cause of good fortune.
Oh.
So if you think
Okay.
about like sports mascots, they're
there's
in theory, by definition, they're good luck charms.
Huh.
The word mascot comes from the French mascotte, which means sorcerer's charm, which ultimately comes from the medieval Latin masca, which means mask, specter, or witch.
Yes, a little good luck witch out on the field.
Little good luck witch. Hear that, Shmonica Schmo? Wasn't she the skipper?
Oh,
Wasn't she their
yeah.
secret skipper mascot?
She totally was. At least
Yeah.
sometimes. Yes. Yes. You're
but it
totally
was like
right.
a secret.
Yeah.
It was like
All
a
right,
big
well,
deal.
bleep the real name.
Oh, yeah.
Of
Only keep
Shmonica
Shmonica Schmo. Yes, the real name. Okay, so we all know the phrase luck of the Irish, but considering all the bad luck that Ireland has had in the past, famine, oppression, disease, civil war, invasions, cultural unrest, etc., where the fuck did the phrase luck of the Irish come from? It is believed that Jonathan Swift, who is a famous Irish satirist, said something along the lines of, quote, I don't really like the term luck of the Irish because the luck of the Irish is, historically speaking, fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great.
Poor
not great.
buddies.
Centuries of oppression and then famine.
It's not,
It's not their fault.
It's not great.
No,
Yeah, they're just unlucky.
it's bad luck.
Mhm.
So there are a few
And the
theories.
English.
There are a few theories about where that phrase came from, and these are according to IrelandBeforeYouDie.com,
Love
which
that.
I love. Edward T. O'Donnell outlines one of the most likely accounts that trace the root of this classic saying. As an associate professor of history at Holy Cross College and author of 1001 Things Everyone Should Know About Irish American History.
1,001. That's a lot of things.
That is a beach read if I've ever heard one.
I think I know 3 things.
That's more than I signed up for,
Well, you're
y'all.
about to know 1.5 more things.
Okay.
I think I know 3 things.
Max 4.
About Irish American history?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. You know 3 more than I do.
Okay, so according to his writings, O'Donnell outlines the meaning of the term. He writes, quote, during the silver and gold rush years in the second half of the 19th century, a number of the most famous and successful miners were of Irish and Irish American birth. Over time, this association of the Irish with mining fortunes led to the expression luck of the Irish. Of course, it was carried with a certain tone of derision, as if to say only by sheer luck as opposed to brains or skill could these fools succeed.
Right.
Fun. Yeah.
So it's kind of
It's like derogatory-ish.
it's
it's
either
demeaning.
satire or derogatory.
Mhm.
Nobody so far is coming up with they're actually lucky.
Right.
well, right. Also, kind of related to this theory, some say the term is an insult opposed to extreme good fortune as it is commonly perceived. Indeed, during the famine in Ireland from 1845 to 1849, there was a mass exodus from the Emerald Isle.
God.
Yeah.
And although today the Irish people are considered to be a welcomed bunch, during this time their presence was much less favorable. Flocking to countries such as the United States on what were called coffin ships, which was a colloquial term for the tall ships which transported famished people out of the country. Other nationalities considered them diseased and plague-ridden.
Mm-hmm.
So they got
they
got a bad rap.
They were basically refugees.
Mhm.
They were refugees.
They were, yeah.
And any time that there's a big, huge wave of refugees, eventually the population gets really nativist and xenophobic and terrible.
Eventually / almost immediately.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So during this time, the Irish were not ideal candidates for employment or as tenants. If they were to succeed in another country, it was suggested to be a result of dumb luck as opposed to good fortune / skills or whatever, hard work, you know.
Right.
They were just like, oh, yeah, you got lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Here's
Well-
a handout. You got lucky. Get a job.
So horrible and unfair. It's like these people, they had the skills and knowledge that they needed and their ancestors needed to live the life that they thought that they were going to be living, this farming life. And all of a sudden that's pulled out from under them for a variety of factors, but like mainly greed of landlords and like greed and horribleness of English lawmakers.
Yeah. Invasions of whatever type.
And suddenly, you know, suddenly they have to like figure out how to make it in cities in a country across the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
In a completely different like type of economy.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't just come over to the US and suddenly move into like an agrarian community, like start a farm. It's like, no.
Yeah. They can't own land yet. Like it's horrible.
I didn't know this, but even as late as the 1950s, boarding houses in London would post signs in their windows that said, no dogs, no Irish.
Ugh.
Very, yeah. I mean, It's
Lot
not,
of-
it's not racism, but it's a special type of, like you said, it's nativism, it's xenophobia, it's just othering in general.
I think you
It's fucking
could-
everywhere.
I think it is a type of racism, because they were considered an out group. English, upper classes and elites considered them a different race. The language that they used was very racist, talking about like the Irish being like subhuman. So I think it would count as a type of racism, especially because like
I think it definitely would have at the time. Certainly, it does not apply now in the same way. But like,
no,
we learned about how racism.
it changes over time. It shifts.
Well, right, and it had like part of the foundation of racism is like the presence of a power imbalance, and which is like why people of color can't be like quote unquote racist like toward white people because of like
It's systemic.
exactly. So I would agree that excuse me, at least at this time, this is definitely racism.
And also, like, it's not easy to fly under the radar or like pass as the in group if you don't necessarily speak that language, or you speak with an accent, or you have certain like facial features, or even like height, because the Irish were like historically usually taller than English or whatever other fucking whiteys. So yeah, I think it was racism. It's just very different from the racism that we see most prominently today.
Yeah, and also like to speak to that, we as modern American citizens, we see racism through our unique American lens. It's like black and white. But that is not the same way that a lot of other areas of the world view races or racism. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
All
of
of
it's a
these things
fucking
can be true.
All these things can be true, and like just like race is a social construct, how we see and the like internal biases are also going to be different across cultures.
Right.
It to some extent, So yeah, it's not just as it's a complex issue is really all we're saying.
Right.
So back to this luck of the Irish phrase, we also have Celtic mythology. So Ireland loves their leprechauns, or at least we
where the
think
fuck did that come
they-
from?
It's just legends.
Yeah.
It's this Celtic legend. So legends of these wee little people living on the island of Ireland thrive in abundance. Tales usually involve a fairy creature in the form of a mischievous, green-clad man who spends his time protecting his pot of gold that lies at the end of a rainbow.
They're after me, Lucky Charms.
Exactly.
Honestly, in terms of like mythology, it makes a lot of sense. Like if you see a rainbow,
Explain how.
If you see a rainbow, like that is fucking wild and cool. And it looks like there's gonna be something very cool on each end that you could never actually get to. So
there
it can't
is
be
no
disproven.
end of the rainbow.
All right, that's what
Right.
she's saying.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. It kind of tracks for me compared to other mythology. Like Norse mythology makes no fucking sense.
Now our Norse mythology community is screaming. We're just gonna make a lot of people scream today. I totally equate stuff like this to like. Remember when we went and did I'm already starting to get drunk. When we went and saw the eclipse, how we experienced that, and then we were like, oh this is a
my
phenomenon
God.
that makes me understand why human beings like created religion. You know what I mean?
I have never been so amazed at a natural phenomenon.
Right.
I don't think I ever will again. That was
Probably
so
not.
wild.
And when you see like a fucking cool rainbow, like a really bright rainbow, like that shit is wild. And
Right.
we've been robbed of like
The wonder.
amazement of it. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
exactly. Because we know it's like light and
We have
whatever,
science now, which is bullshit.
which ruins everything. But
Even
Yeah.
knowing the science behind that eclipse, I was still just like, I wept the whole time.
Oh yeah, I mean it is undeniably amazing. But like these kind of myths and legends and things, they really do make sense to me, even if they seem so nonsensical in today's, through today's lens. But it's like some of this unexplainable phenomena, it's like, how the fuck could you not believe that there was something incredible at the other end of an unattainable rainbow?
It looks like
finish.
a literal bridge to heaven.
Yeah, it does. Like, I would fucking believe that shit too if I didn't understand light refraction and crap like that.
Right.
Which I still fucking
Which I
don't.
barely understand.
Yeah, 1,000%. All this to say, it's real, man. It's fucking real.
We kind of got off on rainbows, but really we're talking about leprechauns, which are basically like the Santa Clauses of Ireland.
All real.
Because it doesn't, like, okay, it's just sort of an arbitrary, here's a man. Oh, it also, they are said to be shoemakers and menders with a flair for pranks and playfulness.
Love it. Love
Okay.
everything about it.
So
Love
it's
a
just
trickster mender.
Yeah, we like to have hope, especially in times of war and famine. And maybe someday you see a rainbow. Oh, it ends right there. Oh, it's a pot of gold.
Look at that. Look at the Irish.
Look at
Yeah.
the Irish.
So leprechauns, gold, luck. There you go.
It's all real.
It's all real. I also wanted to tell you a little bit about the difference between a clover and a shamrock.
Ooh, I didn't know there was a difference.
Oh, there is, I guess.
All right.
This is from The Spruce. Quote, the term shamrock comes from the Irish word, here's your moment to shine, Kenyon, shamrogue or shamerok. Did I do it?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Which translates to little clover. So that is rather vague, considering there are many kinds of clovers and even more plants that often pass as clovers. They're clovers undercover.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Consequently,
Crimson and clover.
Undercover clovers, I call it. New NBC primetime television show.
under clovers.
Under clovers.
Consequently, in St. Patrick's Day celebrations, a number of plants serve as Irish shamrocks, and they include the lesser trefoil, aka hop clover, white clover, black medic, wood sorrel, which is easy to cultivate, and in fact, Ireland ships a shit ton of wood sorrel out of their country to other countries for St. Patrick's Day. They
Dang.
grow it. And also red clover. But all of these are made up of 3 leaflets. The number 3 is significant in the Christian religion because of the doctrine of the Trinity. So Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Father, Son, House of Gucci.
Oh, yeah.
Irish legend has it that the missionary St. Patrick demonstrated the principle behind the Trinity using a shamrock, pointing to its 3 leaflets united by a common stalk. But there is no way of determining with certainty the exact plant referred to in this legend because, as I've stated, there are several that look basically the same.
All right.
This much
Also,
we can
don't
say.
plant any clover in your yard unless you're really sure. Because that shit is never going away.
True. But also, there is much to be said about not having a grass lawn.
That's true. Yeah. If you wanted to do your whole yard in clover, could be great.
Kind of cute.
Yeah.
I'm
This
here
much-
for it.
This much we can say about Irish shamrocks. By definition, for a clover to represent the Trinity, it would have to bear 3 and only 3 leaves. For all of the good luck they allegedly bring, 4-leaf clovers technically can't be considered shamrocks, or at least not in the sense in which St. Patrick made shamrocks famous, at least. It was, in fact, the Druids who elevated the 4-leaf clovers to the status of good luck charms, potent against evil spirits.
Nice.
Classic Druids, am I right?
Typical.
Love it.
Typical. I love Druids.
Yeah, we should have Druids crimes.
Druids crimes. Dangerous Druids.
Dangerous Druid.
Write it down.
OMG.
I know you're writing it down.
I did.
I did.
I did. So this is the origin of the modern belief in their power to bring good luck. For the most part, the 4-leaf clover is not a separate species. It's just a freak of nature. It's just a genetic variant in the plant itself that it has
That makes
4
sense.
instead of 3.
That's why they're so rare.
That's why people feel so lucky when they stumble across one. But if you want to make your own luck and you don't mind going outside the Trifolium genus, buy an Oxalis depe plant. Oxalis depe is widely sold as the good luck plant because it bears a leaf that always has 4 leaflets.
That cheapens it. I'm sorry.
I mean, it does.
No,
but
you gotta spend a day in a field rolling around looking for a 4-leaf clover.
But at the end of the day, 4-leaf clovers as a clover is just a freak. It's a genetic freak.
Great.
All right.
I love it.
That's
Yeah,
my
I
whole
love that
segment because
Wow,
I
fabulous.
really took the name of our gal's pick literally.
Honestly, I love when you do stuff like this.
Yeah.
It's brilliant, and I always learn something weird and fun. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Well
You're
done.
welcome.
Okay. Well, Lucy mentioned St. Patrick as you
Sure
do,
did.
but
Like you do.
I am going to talk about a different Irish saint
Okay.
that you might not know of. Lucy might, because she was raised Catholic. I don't know.
Probably.
Saint Catholic.
Saint Kevin.
Oh.
Saint Kevin.
I know. You wouldn't think that Kevin would be such an old name,
You wouldn't.
Kevin.
but yeah. So Kevin, which is spelled Coemgen in Irish.
Come again.
Come again.
Yeah, Kevin.
Spell that one more time.
Coemgen.
It's almost
Comgen.
come again.
Conjun.
A lot in, well, I don't know about Irish Gaelic, but in
I
Scottish.
only know Scottish Gaelic.
In Scottish Gaelic, a lot of M followed by another consonant is a V sound.
Oh,
I
that's not confusing at all.
Yeah. So, Kevin
no.
of Glendalough was believed to have been born in the year 498 in
Sweet
Ireland.
Kevin.
We're taking it way back with Kevin.
Sweet
Happy
baby Kev.
birthday, Kevin. Sweet baby Kev.
Sweet baby Kevin. He's 25 billion years old.
He's also not sweet, and we'll get to it.
Oh, great.
But there is almost no documentation of his early years because it was fucking 498.
Yeah, they didn't have documentation then.
The hieroglyphs.
Yeah.
And even stories of his later life must often be pieced together from numerous conflicting accounts.
You don't say.
So, a late medieval Latin account would later claim that he was of noble birth, the son of Kevlock and Cummel. I think I nailed it.
You certainly did.
Coemlog.
No way for any of us to know.
Kevluck.
So,
And
good luck with that.
Kevlock. Kevlock of the Irish. Members of the royal family of Leinster, an ancient kingdom in the southeast of Ireland.
Ever heard of it?
Sounds misty.
Yeah, very green.
Everything in Ireland sounds misty.
True. That's the truest thing you've ever said.
Yeah.
And the name Kevin actually means fair begotten or of noble birth.
Bonnie lass.
Kevin.
Kevin. So most documented information about Kevin's early years is made up of what are pretty clearly myths that were developed later, like once he became famous, but whatever. So for
He
example,
sold out.
one commonly told
Sold
story.
out.
Sell out, Kevin.
Classic Kevin.
One commonly told story of his childhood is that a mysterious white cow used to show up at his family's home every morning and evening to provide him with free milk.
First of all, that's rude. Mysterious white cow.
She works really hard to deliver the milk and does not appreciate being called a cow in legend.
I've been called
Okay.
worse.
I mean, same, but still.
In another oft-repeated tale, young Kevin was tasked with guarding his family's sheep.
Oh, young Kevin.
One day, some men were passing by and begged him to give them some sheep as they had nothing. Kevin took pity on them and gave them 4 sheep. I bet his mom was pissed.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a lot of sheep.
And when night fell, however, it was time to count the sheep to ensure that Kevin had performed his duties well and hadn't just fucking given them away. Kevin them away. The correct number were still there. So kind of a loaves and fishes miracle.
Oh, nice.
shit.
There's enough sheep for everyone.
Maybe the sheep were smarter than he gave them credit for, and they started to be led away, and they were like, no, I must stay with my mother.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
At
Sure.
the age of 7,
Just let me have it.
Kevin was sent to a monastery to be educated by St. Patrick of Cornwall,
Oh, Kevin.
Which is in England,
which is in England.
Oh, shit.
as I learned
it all circles back.
18 minutes ago.
And he remained there living with the monks until he was of the ripe old age of 12.
Oh.
Jesus.
So 7, he's just
Which
sent
was probably
away.
like elderly in
Middle-aged.
those- Yeah, the middle age of 12.
Oh, no.
Your
but
bowels
like
have dropped,
1,000%.
you're middle-aged.
That was middle-aged. He was at the washed-up age of 12.
If you're not married with a career and 2 kids by
By
then,
the time you're 12,
what are you doing?
You are slacking off.
So he did have a career. He said he felt called to this monastic life, which was all he knew since he was 7. So, and
Kevin
began
was 7.
studying for the priesthood.
God.
After he was ordained, he made the decision to move to Glendulloch, which translates to Glen of Two Lakes.
Oh.
Glen, Da, and Loch.
Okay. Glendalough.
Loch Ness.
Mhm.
Loch Ness.
Loch Ness.
Got it.
An extremely isolated region of Ireland in order to avoid worldly influence and to more truly follow his monastic principles.
It's for
Love
the
that.
best. Always avoid worldly influence.
He was not a city boy.
No.
Here he lived as a hermit in a small, 1 meter high, partially man-made cave atop Lugduff Mountain.
Well, that's where I am bowing out of this one because I couldn't do it.
I love
Maximalists cannot live in a small, partial cave.
it. Sounds like my dad.
Yeah, it really does.
6 months later, it was a mansion.
He had
With
dug out the
electricity.
whole mountain.
The first recorded case of plumbing.
It was a 5-bed, 7-bath masterpiece.
And he built a canoe on the side.
Sure did.
This dwelling would eventually come to be known as Saint Kevin's Bed, and there's more on this later. Also, there
in
are
my
photos.
hole.
There are photos on the drive if you want to take a look.
Is it a bed and breakfast now?
Well,
St. Kevin's,
Kevin's
bed and breakfast.
breakfast.
there is a tower now, but we'll get to it.
Tower of Kevin.
So later accounts of his life would claim that he had been led to the cave by an angel. In another much more convoluted tale of how he came to settle in Glendulloch, King O'Toole of Glendulloch
Sounds like a real tool.
was distraught because forgot about this part. I finalized
God.
these notes several days ago. King O'Toole was distraught because his beloved pet goose
No.
had grown old and seemed near death.
Oh, poor thing.
It's a fucking goose.
Hey.
Lived a long life.
Did it?
Hearing the tales that by now had begun to spread that Kevin was associated with several miracles involving animals. We've got the cow, we've got the sheep,
We got a goose.
the king.
The goose is
That's
loose.
about it.
That's so bad about covers it.
That's 3
We
animals.
really need this goose one to work out, so we have a list.
We need this one to stick.
We really need this one to stick.
King O'Toole sent for Kevin from his hole and asked that he somehow make the goose young again.
Oh, heard that one before.
Love a young goose.
So when Kevin arrived, he asked for payment in exchange for his help in the form of whatever land the goose flew over.
That is not very monastic of you, Kevin.
Well, I'm sure he's gonna donate it anyway. As the goose was
Tax
much too
write-off.
weak to fly, King O'Toole eagerly agreed to these terms because he thought he was getting a great deal. This fucking old ass goose can't fly at all, so you're not getting any land, right?
Yeah.
But when Kevin touched the bird, it grew young again and flew over the entire valley of Glendulloch.
Sorcery.
And then the king had Kevin thrown in prison. The end.
Burned
Then
at the stake.
So Kevin got, you're a witch. You asked for my witchcraft. Yeah, but you did it.
But you did it.
And I don't want to lose my land.
Bae.
However Kevin came to choose Glendulloch, what is certain is that he soon took up residence in an extremely uncomfortable place.
Classic.
As I mentioned
Worse than the cave, Ben?
well, the cave, but I'm going to describe the cave in more detail.
He was used to it.
As I mentioned before, he made his home in a cave that was and is extremely difficult to get to. It is atop a rock face, 30 feet above a lake,
Nope.
and must be crawled into via a narrow passageway.
I was going to ask because I saw your picture and that is on a cliff.
That
Like,
is just a
It's on the
cliff.
face
Not
of a
worth
fucking
it.
cliff.
Not even for lakefront. Not worth it.
So do you guys see the cliff?
Lock front.
Not
Picture.
lakefront. Not worth it. Yeah, this is fucking insane.
Yeah.
Doesn't look comfy or
No.
warm.
Even once inside, the cave is only 4 feet wide and less than 3 feet high. So it would
Great.
not have been good for much other than sleeping.
You can't
If
stand
that.
up.
No.
I'm 5'6".
Okay, sell this as a quaint, cozy New
New
York
York
apartment.
City
Yeah,
apartment.
New York City apartment.
1,000%.
Ample legroom, private entrance,
1,800 a month.
off the beaten path,
I literally knew someone who rented out
waterfront.
half of a walk-in closet
Oh yeah,
as
Oh,
their
yeah.
room in an apartment in New York.
Which isn't
Was
even
it
legal.
rented out?
Yeah,
No, it was super not legal, but
Yeah.
he wasn't on the lease or anything,
Mhm.
but he paid a set amount to his roommates to
Oh,
live
yeah.
in half of the walk-in closet.
How much?
This was 2009. I don't know. 400, 500.
I mean, if all you need is a place to land and the occasional toilet.
and a fire exit, which
Yeah.
you don't get. But
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So here, Kevin lived the life of a hermit. Stories of this period of his life emphasize his extraordinary closeness to nature. And his
He's-
communion
his
with the
bed is made of
animals
dirt.
around him.
dirt and worms.
You live in a cave. You're close to nature.
Your roommate's a goose. Life is not good.
I bet you're missing that white cow now.
Yeah.
Your roommate's a goose.
I literally don't know what he ate. How did
Goose
he climb
eggs.
up the cliff face with his groceries?
Maybe he could fish from the mouth of his cave straight out down into the loch.
How did he
Maybe.
get his imperfect foods delivery?
Right? It's way off the map. I don't know.
I couldn't have
Amazon would
I wouldn't
have
survive
a bitch
8
of a time.
seconds. 8 seconds without delivery. Wouldn't make it.
So-
8 seconds. The second the grid goes down in whatever World War III scenario is
next
definitely
week.
coming. Yeah, I'm done. It's over for me.
Oh, God.
So one of the most widely known stories of St. Kevin, later recounted in Seamus Heaney's poem, St. Kevin and the Blackbird,
Oh, wow.
tells of him holding out his
other roommate.
hand, and once a blackbird landed on it. And
Wow.
Kevin didn't want to
Mind
disturb
blowing.
the bird.
Bernie Sanders. Need I say more?
He didn't want to disturb the bird that had landed on his hand, so he remained perfectly still for so long that the bird built a nest in his hand and laid her eggs.
Well, that didn't happen.
Okay,
And
this
then-
would be me.
Oh, God.
I gotta go wash. I gotta go wash. Did it poop?
I gotta jump in the loch. Then another story says that Kevin continued holding out his hand in complete stillness until
No.
the eggs hatched and
No.
the chicks fledged the nest.
That
happen.
is a bunch of bullshit.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
bullshit.
I
We're-
refuse to
We're
believe.
not St. Kevin stands. Okay. All together,
Lion sack of shit.
Kevin spent 7 years living alone in his cave, wearing animal skins and subsisting on very little food.
Serves
here
him
we
right
go.
for lying about the bird nest.
I forgot about this. Stories claim that he ate salmon that was brought to him by an otter.
How did the fucking otter get up there? God.
Can
Yo,
otters
This story
climb?
is full of holes.
None
I'm
of
not
this
buying
is
it.
adding up. Yeah, I'm not buying it. None
No.
of this makes sense. No.
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 In the winter,
Uh-uh.
he would spend hours submerged in the freezing loch.
No.
And in summer, he would lay in the nettles that grew in the nearby forests to test his fortitude.
Mm,
A lot of like aesthetic.
Why
Bullshit.
challenge yourself in such ways?
in any way.
In
Well,
any
'cause-
way.
You want to like, I don't know, something about Christ suffering. I don't fucking know. I'm an
No.
atheist.
Christ,
No.
ostensibly, Christ suffered so you wouldn't have to. So this is your fault. You made your own bed
Of
Your
nettles.
of nettles.
of cave nettles.
Fucking stinging cave nettles or whatever the
is-
fuck you're laying
This
on.
is a choice, and it sounds like he really hated himself.
It's
And
a
life is
choice and
short.
it's the wrong one.
It's not
So-
the path I would have taken.
So word of Kevin's extreme holiness soon got out, and his lair in Glendalough began attracting pilgrims and disciples. Despite the fact that he preferred being alone, strongly
I mean, same.
preferred, Kevin was convinced to allow others to remain at Glendalough to learn from him, and soon multiple structures were being built on his land.
I don't like that.
His Rocky Crag.
I knew,
His
I knew,
Racky Craig.
He's
I knew
Racky
this part
Craig.
would annoy Lucy.
I hate it.
All these people just start showing up and pitching tents.
Oh,
Get
we have so
off
much to
my
learn
lawn.
from you. Ugh.
Before long, the isolated stretch of land near the convergence of two lochs had grown into a well-regarded seminary for monks and scholars.
No.
No.
Urban sprawl. I don't like it.
Light pollution.
Leave me
Light
the
pollution.
fuck
The
alone.
otter doesn't come by anymore.
Yeah, they
say,
can't.
the
The otter
otter.
can't even park to drop off my fucking salmon. Like, this is bullshit.
Not enough parking.
Gentrification at its worst.
Mm-hmm.
Leave my crag alone.
The infrastructure cannot hold.
No.
So
Get
just
out
as
of my crag.
just all these people are all up in my crag.
All up in my fucking crag.
Get the fuck out of my crag.
Crag McGee.
Just as Kevin had once been, young boys were sent away from home to learn from these monks. According to legend, a boy once asked Kevin for an apple.
Oh, no,
Big
you did not.
mistake. Huge.
The monastery had no apples, but Kevin blessed
Oh.
a clump of willow trees, which were transformed into apple trees. And these trees continued producing apples for centuries. And so for a while, St. Kevin's apples were in demand all over Ireland, which is not a euphemism. It was talking about apples.
Fucking classic Kevin, am I right?
He just... like, see that clump of willows over there? Now close your eyes. I'm going to spin you in a circle real fast.
Mhm.
Oh, see that clump of willows? And they're apple trees now.
Oh, weird,
Over
right?
there.
Who'd have thunk it?
It's like the... This is so bad. When the I-35 bridge collapsed in Minneapolis.
Yes.
Okay.
And we were on... it's funny, I
working.
swear. We
We
were
were
working.
teaching
We were on an island in the middle of Lake Minnetonka, and I thought I knew which direction east was. But I was like, just imagine, just 15 miles that way. And then we both kind of looked out into the horizon, and I was like, 15 miles that way.
You maybe had to be there. We were moved.
It was a moment. And like most of
Okay.
our moments, it ended in hysterical laughter.
Anyway, okay. Other than brief periods of travel to visit other monasteries, Kevin remained at the monastery he had founded in Glendalough until his death from natural causes on June 3rd, 618.
Wow.
Which
Natural
if-
causes, like, take your pick.
Which,
At the
if
age
you're
of
counting,
15.
would mean he lived to be 120 years old.
No. No, he did not.
We don't know for sure.
Full of holes, people. I'm not buying a word of this.
Oh. There's no way.
No.
He had become so well known by the end of his life that his death date is almost certainly accurate. So he died on June 3rd, 618. But we don't know his birth year, and so, whatever. It's become accepted as truth, but it's not. Kevin was canonized in 1903 by Pope Pius X, and St. Kevin's feast day is still celebrated every year in Ireland on June 3rd. However, it probs soups should not be, and here is why.
Oh, great.
However, there is a darker telling of St. Kevin's life that includes much gorier details that the church's official biography conveniently leaves out.
Yes.
In this version of the story, Kevin is not described as kind and gentle, but rather as a, quote, foul-tempered, difficult child who
Awkward.
hated people from a young age and always preferred the company of animals.
Okay.
Lucy.
Now this is tracking.
Now we're cooking with gays.
Yeah, we're cooking with
La
gays.
Shell.
Right.
From childhood, old Kev knew that a life of abstinence and seclusion from other people was what he wanted. He would have much preferred to live out his life as a hermit, but those who had learned of his miracles wouldn't leave him the fuck alone.
Not enough parking. Find your own cave.
Find your own crag. It's Ireland. There are plenty.
Get out of my crag.
Your own fucking crag.
Get out of my dreams.
This
and
crag's
into my
taken.
crag.
Crag's taken.
This telling of his life also emphasizes that Kevin was very good looking, enough to attract the attention
Okay.
of a young lass named Kathleen, who
Bully
lived-
Kathleen.
who lived near Glendalough. And some versions of the story describe Kathleen as a sweet young woman, and others describe her as a witch.
Are they
Ooh.
mutually exclusive?
Well, some descriptions of her are like she was just great and just wanted to fuck, and some are like she was trying to kill him. Anyway, she is
Again, mutually exclusive?
Right. Why not both?
She is described in a poem from the early 1800s by the Irish poet Thomas Moore as having, quote, eyes of the most unholy blue.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Did
you
Did
get out the
very
crag?
fast? Did you get out the crag? Tell me more, because he sounds like a drag.
Either way, Kathleen decided that she was going to seduce Kevin and persuade him to give up his life of abstinence and seclusion
Get
for
him.
her.
Get him, girl.
you cure the old goose?
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
That was quite a wheeze. We got a wheeze to go.
Look at her face.
I'm just behind a party hat on our little... We're using that fucking together mode again on Skype, and we're at a birthday party on this one.
Did you cure the old goose?
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Oh my god, okay. Because she sounds like a hag.
It turned colder. That's where it is. So I told her, we'd still
Get out of my crag.
Get out of my crag.
Okay, but literally, because we're about to get to it. So, according to legend, that little slut, Kathleen, dressed herself provocatively in a red skirt.
Little
What?
red skirt.
What was she
What a
wearing?
slut.
Baby,
followed,
come on in my
course,
crag.
The legend says what this bitch is wearing.
Of course it does.
Yeah. And followed Kevin through the woods and into his crag. But enraged that someone was trying to tempt him out of his monastic vows, Kevin pushed Kathleen from the cave into the loch below, where
good.
she drowned.
Divorce is an option.
This man is a saint. He pushed a woman off a cliff to her death is
Listen.
preferable.
Get out of my dreams and into my crag.
The story of Kathleen's murder entered into Irish folklore and was the subject of numerous works of art, including another Thomas More poem which reads, "By the lake whose gloomy shore skylark never warbles o'er, where the cliff hangs high and steep, young Saint Kevin stole to sleep." I almost said sheep. "Here at last," he calmly said, "woman ne'er shall find my bed." Ah, the good saint little knew what that wily sex can do. 'Twas from Kathleen's eyes he flew, eyes of most unholy blue. She had loved him well and long, wished him hers, nor thought it wrong. Wheresoe'er the saint...
Worcestershire.
Wheresoe'er the
Worcestershire, the saint would fly. Worcestershire.
Worcestershire, the saint would fly. Still he heard her light foot nigh, east or west, where he turned.
Wherever he turned.
Wherever he turned.
Whoa, Black Betty, wherever he turned.
Still her eyes before him burned, on the bold cliff's bosom cast.
Oh.
Tranquil now he sleeps at last, dreams of heaven nor thinks that woman's smile can haunt him there.
God.
But nor earth nor heaven is free from her power, if fond she be. I'm almost done, kind of.
This is incredible. Her power.
Even now, while calm he sleeps, Kathleen o'er him leans and weeps.
Yeah, you're haunted now, bitch. You just
Yeah,
pushed
no
me into
shit.
a fucking craggy shire.
Hope you got a good night's sleep, ass.
Yeah, you're never gonna stop hearing me weep, bitch.
Bitch.
Fearless she had tracked his feet to this rocky, wild retreat. And when morning met his view, her mild glances met it too. Ah, your saints have cruel hearts.
How long
Sternly,
is this power?
sternly from his bed he
He
starts.
farts.
He sharts, and with rude, repulsive shock, hurls her from the beetling rock.
Whoa.
Glendulloch, thy gloomy wave, soon was gentle Kathleen's grave.
Holy shit.
Soon the saint, yet too late, felt her love and mourned her fate.
Oh, he's having an oops moment.
When he said, "Heaven rest her soul," round the lake light music stole,
and her ghost was seen to glide, smiling o'er the fatal tide.
Wow.
Whoa.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Pretty fucking good.
That was a good dramatic reading.
Fucking good. I love a dramatic reading.
It was wonderful.
I was overwhelmed. So there is another, less gruesome, more moralizing version of the legend in which he only beat Kathleen with a bunch of nettles.
Okay. Yeah.
And while beating her with the nettles, he said, "The fire without extinguishes the fire within."
The
This
power
guy
of
and his
Christ
fucking nettles.
compels you.
He's,
Compels ye.
He's gross. I
Yeah.
don't like him.
And so then that hussy Kathleen felt ashamed of her actions and begged for Kevin's forgiveness and lived out the rest of her days as a very holy woman with unholy blue eyes, I guess.
Wow. Okay.
So
That's my favorite part of this story, her unholy,
The unholy
blue eyes.
So the version that ends with her drowning and then subsequent haunting of the lakes is much more commonly told.
Uh-huh.
It's better.
And
It's
likely,
better.
yeah.
And likely.
I mean, you know he cragged her ass.
He cragged her in the ace.
Yeah, you know he cragged her.
So today, the monastic ruins at Glendullah are among Ireland's most important and most visited. Most people travel there to see the well-preserved ruins, but the prospect of seeing young Kathleen's ghost has drawn its fair share of visitors as well.
Ooh.
So there have been numerous reports of sightings of her over the years, including a couple of like supposed photographs that were taken in the 1970s by visiting tourists.
Yes.
And in these photographs, she is reportedly wearing a long red gown and shawl.
Please, God, tell me you have these on the drive.
They're really blurry.
Well,
They're like a
as most
couple.
ghost pictures are.
Yeah, they're like a couple. They're not great.
Okay.
So an American man whose real name is Dick Fuller
Yes. Yes.
visited Ireland for St. Patrick's Day in 1975. And he described how, quote, "My wife had gone to see if the gift shop was open." I just love how absolutely American these two are.
That's why I go to most museums.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I visited the cemetery. I walked from the entrance to the tower and went around to see if I could read the inscription on the back of the stones. I glanced around to see if my wife was joining me, and as I did so, I saw a red figure moving from left to right towards a fallen down building. I thought it was another person in the cemetery. I walked towards the ruins, expecting to see a person dressed in red, but there was no one there. Since there was only one entrance, the person couldn't have appeared without passing me. As far as I am concerned, I saw a ghost.
Nice.
And interest in the legend of Kathleen seems to have been particularly strong in the 60s and 70s, which was around the time that the Irish folk band The Dubliners wrote their song, The Glendullah Saint, which
Ooh.
includes the lyrics, "Well, he gave the poor creature a shake, and I wish that a Garda had caught him," which is like a cop.
Yeah.
Please have. "I wish that a Garda had caught him, for he threw her right into the lake, and bejesus, she sank to the bottom."
Oh,
Oh
but
my
Jesus.
And that, bejesus, is my story.
Wow. Saint
Nice.
Kevin. What a douche.
I think bejesus might be my new ejaculation.
Oh my God.
bejesus.
But Jesus, your roommate's a
Bejesus.
goose.
Did you cure the old?
Did you cure the old goose?
Tell me more. Tell me more. She sounds
where's
like a
that old
Craig.
goose?
Hey, where's that old goose? What
Got
happened
back
to
to
the
the
goose?
goose.
Can we get back to the goose? Tell
I
me
need to know what
more.
happened to the goose.
I'm invested in the goose.
Yeah, so that's St. Kev.
Oh no.
Nice. Fuck you, St. Kev. You sound like a real prick. I can say that as a Catholic.
Okay, well, on that note.
Okay. are you ready for my case?
Sure, I don't know if you could top it. But Jesus, I don't know.
But Jesus. Well, I don't know about you, but when I think of Luck of the Irish, I think of Cleveland, Ohio.
What the fuck?
I kind of do, though.
Yeah, stick with me here.
Okay.
So let's go to Cleveland in the 70s, which was a pretty rough time for the city.
The only place worse than Cleveland in the 2000s.
Is Cleveland in the 70s.
Cleveland blows.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Cleveland.
Sorry, Cleveland. Please prove me wrong. Please.
We love you, Cleveland. All right. So throughout the decade, about a third of the population left. They were like, bye. And Cleveland, a third, like over
Jesus.
23%
That's
of
like-
the population either died or left. We're like,
That is the
fuck it, I'm
same
out.
as the potato famine in Ireland.
Pretty much.
Same statistic.
Yikes.
Yeah. I'm sorry, not a
great
third,
hunger.
a quarter. Not a third, a quarter. It was like
gonna
23, 24%.
Almost 23% doesn't
It's like
equal
a
a
quarter.
third.
Listen, I never claimed to be good at math, but I caught it. I walked it back.
That's what counts.
Yeah. So Cleveland also became the first major city since the Great Depression to default on its loans. Ooh. So things were not good economically. Like the city was in economic despair. Their main economic hub of steel factories and manufacturing were closing. And mob violence was on the rise, earning Cleveland the nickname Bomb City, USA.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh.
The man behind that macabre nickname was known as the Irishman. His name was Danny Green, born in Cleveland on November 14th, 1933, but to Irish immigrants. So, like, he's a first-generation American in his family.
Right.
He was a Scorpio, just like my sister. His mother died from complications of his birth, and his father dealt with the grief of that loss by self-medicating with alcohol. Not great. Unable to keep up with the demands of single parenthood, Danny's father bundled him up and drove him to a local hospital where he was left to the system.
People
He
just did that. This was... Yeah.
Hey, baby safe haven, you can still drop off a baby at a hospital.
Yeah.
You still can. Dumpsters do not need to be a resort.
No.
You can drop it off at a hospital, a fire station.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Give it to another adult human to care for.
So he was raised in a Catholic orphanage. He did have contact with his grandfather, who some reports said also helped to raise him, but it's really murky. I'm not 100% sure. I think he was mostly raised in the system.
It's murky bray.
Murky bray. And he had very little connection to his birth family other than his grandparent, this single grandparent. So he just kind of clung to his Irish heritage with great pride because it was one of the few things that could connect him to like a sense of identity.
Yeah,
I
he
get it.
didn't know his parents, but he knew that he was Irish.
Correct.
Yeah, you can't be totally untethered like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So this kid was tough and formidable. He dropped out of high school to join the U.S. Marine Corps and made a name for himself as an expert marksman and a skilled boxer. He took immense pride in his appearance, working out daily-ish, visiting the tanning bed, and investing in hair plugs when his hairline began to recede.
The tanning
Got
bed.
it.
What year is this?
The 70s, baby. 60s and 70s.
Oh.
They had them. They just were even more cancerous.
Okay.
Luck.
Damn. Okay.
And there was a smoking section. So you could get it on the inside and the outside.
Oh,
the good old days.
Smoke in a tanning bed.
Smoking in the tanning bed.
Looking like an old goose.
Looking like an old goose.
It's not going to reverse the aging process.
Speed it up. I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
I cannot believe that tanning beds still exist.
I know.
It's wild. Wild.
Spray
Listen,
tan.
I'm an American. I'm going to burn my flesh and my nipples off.
Have you
And-
ever burned your nipples in a tanning bed, though? It's
Yes.
the worst.
The one time
It is a rite of passage.
The one time I let Blave Blavam see my breasts in high school was right before a Sweethearts dance. I went to a tanning booth and
flashed
fucking with Jessica
Of course.
Yeah.
She brought all
loved
of
to
us.
tan. Yes, and she
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, you go naked," and I was like, "Well, what am I?" She's like, "No, just rub on the lotion, just go." And here's a little like fucking what are they called? Playboy
Playboy bunny
Yeah,
sticker.
oh yeah.
Put
Yep.
it on your hip. And I was like, okay, girl, I'm trusting you.
I thought that's just like how it works.
Burned from head to toe. And my tits were so burned that you couldn't see where my tit ended and areola began. It was just
It was just
flat.
the same color. It was,
It was
the
just
same
red
pink.
with like a little mosquito bite nipple, like protrusion. They were
Ow.
gone. They were gone. I showed
Did they grow back?
everyone. Yes, and I think they came back bigger and stronger than ever.
I
Now
think
I
you
have
showed me.
areolas just the size of a goddamn planet.
You do have some sizable.
Massive areolas, girl. They're huge. You can land a plane on these bad boys.
They're not. They're like a bread plate.
Like many things about me, they are not delicate. They are formidable.
They're wonderful.
Anyway, yeah, I'm not hating.
We won't lose you in the dark when we go skinny dipping.
No, I'm not hating on my areolas. I'm just acknowledging their girth, their
They're
circumference.
They're spectacular.
Where did
So-
how did this start? Oh, tanning bed.
The tanning bed. Anyway, so when he returned from the Marines,
Your guess is as good
Ireland,
as
Cleveland. When he returned from the Marines, he took a job as a stevedore at a Lake Erie shipyard. And for those who are me and have no clue
No
what a
idea.
stevedore is, they load and unload cargo from ships.
Okay.
Mm.
His entry to the mob reads like a Scorsese script.
Amazing.
First appointed as the president of the local faction of the International Longshoremen's Union, where the power went to his head almost immediately, and he would demand union members to physically assault fellow workmen who didn't follow union rules. So he ran a tight ship. There were even rumors that he demanded union workers to cater to him like a king, lounging in the sun as they worked and requiring them to rub him down with tanning oil.
This man loved to get a little color.
Get a sheen.
Fuck does he think he is?
Wow.
But he's Irish, so I imagine he's just pink.
Yeah.
Every day he's
Freckled.
just pink and in pain.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is mostly legend, like the rubbing down with oils, but legends come from somewhere, so I am choosing to believe this
Fact.
is 100% fact. Yeah.
Bible.
Yes, fucking St. Kevin. I swear on St. Kevin, this is real. He basically made himself into Jim Carrey's Riddler from the 1990s Batman, painted his union office green, wore tailored green suits, and drove a green car in honor of his Irish heritage. Also, his last name is Green.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
This earned him the nickname the Irishman.
Imagine that, like, they just got the paperwork wrong at the orphanage or the firehouse or whatever.
Oh my God, his last name's Blue. This is gonna fuck up his whole identity.
He's just like Sicilian.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
shit.
Yeah, no, he's definitely Irish. Despite the questionable tactics, he did fight for better working conditions during his time as union president. Gotta partially do your job so people don't suspect you. And was revered for his well-run docks and the ability to get what he wanted for the union. This efficiency, coupled with his iron fist approach, caught the eye of other union leaders, or the eyes, I should say, and local mob bosses. And he was introduced to famous mobster Jimmy Hoffa in the 1960s. Jimmy was actually super put off by Danny, even warning his closest confidants to, quote, stay away from him.
Yeah, I
There's
didn't like
something
this.
wrong with him.
Showboating Irishman.
Yeah. He was
He's
literally like,
real
there's something wrong with that boy. Give him a wide berth. And boy, was Jimmy Hoffa right. Danny was ousted from his role as union president in the mid-60s after being indicted by a federal grand jury for embezzling about 11 grand in union money.
Tanning is not cheap, okay?
It's not
Even
cheap.
if you get
Oil isn't
a
cheap.
booklet.
Yeah. He pled guilty to this charge in 1966, but the conviction was overturned in 1968. I have to assume there was a lot of like crooked
Whatever.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maneuvering.
Sending him on his merry way to take on his next empire, the Cleveland Trade Solid Waste Guild.
I was gonna say, if you're not
in garbage
cooking the books
collection.
at the docks, you gotta go to the garbage collection.
It's literally a cliche of a mob
Oh.
story.
It's amazing.
Is solid waste
It's like trash
trash
collection.
or
Yeah. It's trash.
okay?
Yeah. It was here that we learned that he leaned into his skills and started his own racket. He was hired by mafioso Alex Shondor Burns as a bounty hunter, Mr. Burns, settling debts and recovering unpaid loan monies. But Danny didn't want his... Yeah, breaking knees and taking names. But Danny didn't want his eggs in only one basket. So he also sought contracts with the Italian mob as an enforcer.
I'm getting confused with your accent.
I know, I'm just leaning into Minnesotan now.
Yeah.
He was taken under the wing of John Nardi, but what he really wanted was to be the top dog in town and run the Cleveland crime scene.
Tap
Dag, slab on my name.
Ish.
Solid waste is garbage. It's not poop.
I know. That's what I said.
I know. I'm just confirming. I Googled.
Thank you.
I'm right 2 times.
Even a blind squirrel finds a nut now and then.
And perennials will go down in history.
True.
He
I
had
hope you
to
documented it.
I did, in my mind. He had to take out the other factions in order to take control. So he started building bombs.
As you do.
Like you do. Bombs grew in popularity in the 70s among crime syndicates because they were relatively easy to build with relatively easy to acquire materials. They could be detonated from afar, thus keeping the suspects away from the scene of the crime as well as, in theory, away from harm. And the explosions destroyed key evidence, especially in a time of archaic forensic science.
Yeah, you could just blow up a car.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yup. That was like the primary way.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a learning curve to bomb handling.
Oh no.
And Danny failed hard in the beginning.
That's why we call him Danny No Hands Irishman.
Well, oh my God. No, I just did it. He didn't lose his hands, but he lost something else.
Eyebrows.
So you're getting closer. His
Dingling.
first is not his dingling. For eyebrows are far away from the dingling. Closer is not dingling. It's still on the face.
It'd be funny if he
Nose.
blew off his wiener, though.
It would be really good if he blew up.
His face dingling, his nose.
I mean, eventually his
Is that what you call your nose?
Your
dingling?
face dingling.
I mean,
So, BRB, I gotta blow my face dingling. I got a bat hanging out of my face dingling.
Oh my God. Ew.
Ish. Okay. His first try with bombs was with a stick of dynamite that he tried to use against a target in a drive-by fruiting situation, a drive-by bombing. So he's in his car. He pulls up next to the target's car and tries to toss the stick of dynamite.
Stick of dynamite.
A lit stick of dynamite. But he didn't check the length of the fuse and ended up blowing up his own car and shattering his right eardrum. Which, in all seriousness, it's a miracle that that's the extent of the injury that he sustained from that.
Yeah.
So, oops. He needed to invest time in perfecting this craft so he wouldn't fuck up again. So he hired a man named Art Snepperger to assist him. This relationship worked out for a while. The two built better bombs, and Art was paid to plant the bombs. Art would even get paid bonuses if the explosions were epic enough to get on the news.
imagine living in a city where a car exploding might not get on the news.
I mean, we'll get to it, but it was happening so much.
Jesus.
It was happening so much that it was
Wow.
Bomb City, I guess.
Wow.
And this was
Kind of like
peak
school shootings in the U.S. right now.
I mean, it's
True,
nuts,
actually.
but the desensitization is wild. And the rise of the mob and mob wars and the fucking deep corruption in the system of justice then. You think it's bad now?
Yeah, the 70s
it was
were
blatant.
wild.
Yeah. It's nuts. I mean, it is still bad now and everything's a mob. It's just quieter in some ways. But anyway, it was not good. They basically just ran the fucking city. Nobody fucking tried to apprehend them. It was they'll just fight it out until they're all dead is basically the stance that
Yeah,
anyone
we'll just
who wasn't
see who comes out on top.
Yeah, if you weren't paid off as a member of the justice system, then you just stayed the fuck out of it, basically.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get fucking killed. I mean, it was not cute. It was not cute. So
It's not cute.
it was not cute, you guys.
Not cute.
But Art pretty quickly blew himself up while trying to take out a target and died.
Yeah, being the bomb planter is
Yeah.
a tough job.
It's not great. The lucky surviving target of that attack was notorious Big Mike Fredo. And Big Mike was not pleased to find out Danny was trying to blow him up. This is where Danny's self-proclaimed, quote, luck of the Irish streak really began. Big Mike targeted, this is nuts. I can picture this so cinematically like the Scorsese scene in my fucking head. So Big Mike targeted Danny in a drive-by shooting while Danny was out like jagged with his dags in 1971. And Danny evaded fire with a quick stat, trap, and roll. Pulled a gun from his joggers. He was in sweatpants with a gun.
Imagine jogging with a gun.
In your sweatpants.
And you're slicked up.
And you're slicked. You're a slick Rick, and you got 2 dags.
And you can see everything's through men's sweatpants.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, is that a gun or are
Probably
you
why
just
he had the
jogging in
gun in his
sweatpants?
sweatpants.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus.
So he's on the ground. He rolls out of the way. He shoots back at Big Mike from the ground and hits him in the fucking temple and kills him.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Whoa.
Danny got off without any
Danny
charges
boy.
by claiming self-defense.
I mean, it
Which,
was.
like, it was. Yeah, it was. He was targeted,
Wow.
but because of his own nonsense. But yes. So one boss down. Danny formed a crew of Irish Americans living in Cleveland and called them the Celtic Club.
Subtle.
Wizard Women of the North.
Oh my God, Celtic Woman is coming to Louisville. And
What?
Zach was like, be honest. Do you want tickets?
Yes. Are you fucking kidding me? Yes, you want fucking tickets.
I don't
The
know.
ladies? The
Yeah, the
wizard
ladies.
women?
The ladies in the ball gowns who sing
You
like
have to
Irish
go. When is
ballads.
it? When is
Oh,
it?
you're
When is it?
going.
I'm
It's in
coming
April.
down.
It's in
April?
April.
You're
Yeah.
going.
All right,
Bitch,
come
let's
down.
go.
If you guys come here, I'll go.
I'm in. We're going.
All right, Celtic Woman.
Mark
Also-
my sake-soaked words. We're fucking
I'm
going.
coming.
I'm on my way. I'm gonna drive
Also-
right out.
Four redheaded women in prom dresses singing Danny Boy. I can't miss that.
You also better fucking believe we're going in black tie. We are going in gowns and
Okay.
gloves.
I will travel near and far.
Absolutely.
Do it.
But like
Sounds
actually,
misty. Let's do
after
it.
we're done recording, let's look at our calendars because I soups want to do this. Anyway, so the Celtic Club.
I got some sky miles to burn.
Let's fucking go. Their next target, his mob connection, Alex Shondor Burns, Mr. Burns, who had been paying him to collect on loans, break knees. After Danny found and removed an unexploded bomb in his own car,
Oh, God.
he knew Alex was after him, and it was on. The Celtic Club planted a bomb in Alex's Lincoln Continental in March of 1975, rigged to explode once the key was turned in the ignition. My biggest fear.
Yikes.
I think about this every time I get in my car.
Do
What
you
about the
really?
banana thing?
Yes.
Who's trying to kill you?
No one. But I don't trust the wiring of any car. Any number of things could go wrong. I could become a banana.
So you don't think that someone planted a bomb that will go off. You think that the wiring could just be
There's
faulty.
no way to know.
Here's what I want you to understand.
Your anxiety is worse than I even thought.
It doesn't matter if it's a bomb or faulty wiring. Something's going to take me out. And so I just take a deep breath and prepare for that quick exit
Prepare to meet your maker.
every fucking time I leave my house.
Just say a quiet prayer.
Yo, I'm basically agoraphobic.
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 Moving on.
I'm
My hands
agoraphobic.
are so sweaty right now. Okay. Hold on.
This is like
Better
a drunk
finish
dive.
up so you can get back to your safe spot.
I'm safe right now. I'm underground.
Their house could collapse on top of you. You're in your basement.
I'm gonna send you the Celtic Woman link so that drunk Amanda makes
Can
the
buy
call.
tickets. Done.
That sober Amanda doesn't have a chance to stop
I'm gonna
it.
wake up tomorrow with a bank alert that's like, you bought 2 plane tickets and 3 tickets to Celtic Woman in Kentucky. Do you approve these charges? And I'm gonna be
Was
like,
your card
yeah,
stolen?
probably. Yeah, probably. Yeah, no, that sounds like me.
They wouldn't even write to you for that.
Listen,
That trap.
they would. The amount of texts I get for suspicious purchases.
You've had way more erratic spending than that.
My bank is like, I think I have a setting toggled on. My bank is like really sensitive about it.
You bought those like hot pink rhinestone shoes.
No, my mom did. My mom bought those.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Let's keep
Oh,
going.
yeah, where were we? Okay, well, anyway, all of the above. So, okay. So he turns the ignition, Alex blows up, he dies. Danny was once again retaliated against for planting this bomb, or like having this bomb planted. This time with a bomb outside of his own apartment. The building was destroyed. There's a picture of it on the drive. But luck would intervene, luck of the Irish, once again, as there were no casualties. I think it was like a duplex. It's not like a huge building, but the building is rubble.
Oh, it's whoa.
Blew up the whole fucking building.
It's gone.
It's rubble.
It's just
Holy
plywood.
shit.
Yeah. Nobody died.
Was no one home?
These
I think
cars are fucked up too.
I know. I don't think his neighbors were home. I really think it was only one other either person or family that lived on the property, and he like somehow got out. I don't know.
Yikes.
But now this was an all-out war between the Irish and Italian mob factions of Cleveland. So by 1977, bombings were frequent throughout the city. In 1976, the mob was responsible for over 20 bombings that year alone.
Jesus.
Some reports said 21 bombings, some said as many as 36. So it's like at least 20 plus. From my favorite source, allthat'sinteresting.com. Quote, territorial disputes, revenge killings, and assassinations of mob leaders became relatively commonplace, and it was all because of Danny Green. Officials estimate that he was involved in 75 to 80% of the bombings in Cleveland over the 10-year span of the late 1960s to the early 1970s, end quote.
And they just couldn't arrest him because they were scared and
he was like orchestrating the bombings, but not doing it himself anymore. It's like he's so protected. And even if there's a stray 20 to 25% of the bombings that he's not quote unquote responsible for, he set the precedent. Like, I'm bombing you and now you're bombing other people.
right.
So I would argue that like almost 100% of the bombings were because of him, because he set the
Because
standard.
of the retaliatory bombings.
He set the
Also-
standard in Cleveland for this being a tactic of like fucking gang war, like mob war.
Also, I bet that those estimates probably came like later.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't necessarily like, oh, they know he's responsible for all
Right.
of these. Why didn't they arrest him? They might have just figured it out later.
Mhm. It's very possible.
Because like you were saying about the forensics for fucking bombs.
It's the fucking 70s and
Yeah.
the literal 60s. They don't fucking know shit.
Right.
And everybody's fucking paid off. Like, it's nuts. So Danny certainly had a target on his back, and there were attempts to take him out with his own medicine, bombings, that failed. He loved the spotlight and loved evading these mob attempts on his life, even giving candid interviews to television newspaper reporters. This guy is like, I give no fucks.
Yeah. He loved the attention.
Yeah.
In one such interview, he said, and now he uses a term that could and often is construed as a racial slur, but it's the way that he is saying this is like yellow-bellied, because it's about their like cowardice, and he's not targeting like Asian Americans. He's talking about the Italian mob. And so I just want to make that really clear before I read this, because the way that it reads is like, and I'm not condoning it. He's a fucking asshole. But the way that he reads is like old school when you say like yellow-bellied cowards. That's the way that he's using the word yellow. So I just wanted to clear that up before I say it.
I wonder if yellow-bellied is racist, too. I'm going to Google it.
It probably fucking is. Like, fucking everything is racist.
He's trying to say cowardly.
Yeah. So he
while pointing his hatred against Italians.
says, right.
Not Asians.
Right.
Got it.
He's a mess. So he says, quote, "The luck of the Irish is with me, and I have a message for those yellow maggots. That includes the payers and doers. The doers are the people who carried out the bombing. They have to be eliminated because the people who paid them can't afford to have them remain alive. And the payers are going to feel great heat from the FBI and the local authorities. And let me clear something else up. And another thing. I didn't run away from the explosion. The one on his house. Someone said they saw me running away. I walked away."
Okay, that is the most toxic masculinity thing ever.
Yeah.
1,000%.
It's a bomb.
Yeah.
I hope you ran away.
I walked away.
Yeah.
Also, yellow-bellied comes from the yellow-bellied sapsucker, which is a medium-sized woodpecker that breeds in Canada and northeastern United States.
There
I guess
you
they're
go.
just shy.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
I knew that like yellow-bellied was something about cowardice, and you could tell from the context that that's how he's saying it.
He is calling Italian Americans, well,
Yeah.
not all of them, the ones trying to kill him,
Listen,
maggots.
there's no reason to
He's not a
even
good person.
question that this guy's not a fucking racist
Yeah.
piece of shit.
This guy's not a good guy. It's fine.
We all know he's a fucking racist piece of shit.
Love it.
So, hate it, love it. When his longtime mentor and ally, John Nardi, who had taken him under his wing years prior, was killed by a car bomb in May of 1977, not by Danny Green. This was a retaliatory car bomb because like John and Danny were in cahoots. They were buddies. Green made an attempt at diplomacy with the mob leader who had ordered the attack. Danny had taken over a large gambling operation that John Nardi was running and offered a small percentage of this racket to the opposing mob boss in exchange for an end to the war. Though this boss arranged a ceasefire to open up negotiations, he ultimately declined and sent Danny on his merry way. Then, on October 6th, 1977, Danny had to go to the dentist.
Oh no, the dentist took him out.
Another
That's what finally
reason-
did it.
The dentist is too dangerous. Just let your teeth go. Just let them go.
Oh, don't do that, though.
Let them all go. Let them
don't
fall
do that.
out.
Don't
Get
do
new
that. Don't do
teeth.
that.
Then you
Don't
can
do
just
that.
get
Don't
new
do that.
teeth.
Don't do
Just
that.
don't
You have
go
to
to
go
the
to the
dentist.
dentist to get new teeth.
Or the dentist, but yeah. The mob had tapped his phone and knew about the upcoming appointment. So Danny goes to his appointment. Everything's fine. He gets there unscathed. He leaves the office. He walks to his car in the parking lot. And he's like getting into his car. He's not even fully in his car yet. And the car parked next to him in the lot exploded, killing Danny once and for all.
Next to him?
Yeah. So he's like parked next to a car.
Uh-huh.
And that's the car that wasn't his was the one that was
Because
rigged
he
to
was
explode.
used to checking his own car
Correct.
for bombs.
So
they
there's a
just
picture.
parked- Oh.
There's a picture on the drive of an exploded car with the license plate AF7958.
Uh-huh.
That's his car.
Whoa.
The car that you can't see, but you don't see a headlight of to the left is the car that blew up. And that bit of cloth in between the two
Yeah.
is Danny.
I was wondering. Whoa, he got
Blown
behind
up.
the car.
Yeah, I think you can see like
Wow.
part of a leg and pants, but they blew him sky high.
Wow.
Oh,
It's like not
see
it's
his
like not a
shoe.
graphic photo really, but it's wild.
It's graphic enough.
When you know, you know.
Yeah.
So the car bomb was believed to have been planted by a hitman known as Ray Frito Burrito, Frito Ray.
Yum.
Frito Ray.
Frito Ray. Ray was arrested for Danny's murder and pointed the finger at Jimmy Fratiano for the planning of and hiring for the murder of Danny. And Fratiano was indicted for charges related to the bombing. Fearing for his safety, Fratiano agreed to become a government witness against the mob. That's the way to do it. In return for his testimony, he pled guilty to the murder charges and received a 5-year prison sentence, of which he served 21 months.
Very short for murder.
Well, yeah, and he probably killed a whole lot of other fucking people, not just this guy, Danny, because this guy was like a fucking mob boss.
He gave them enough info, and also the people that
Exactly.
he's mostly killing are mostly mobsters, so they're
Well, and,
yeah,
like,
whatever.
Yeah.
They could connect him directly to this, but probably not all of the other ones that they even knew he had ties to. So in 1980, after testifying for the government that led to the racketeering convictions of 5 reputed mafia figures, Frediano entered witness protection, and he's probs dead now, but he just fell off the grid.
Well, good for him.
Yeah, good for you. This saga was made into a movie called Kill the Irishman in 2011 and features the acting of Val Kilmer, Christopher Walken, Vincent D'Onofrio, and Linda Cardellini.
Yeah.
Love her. And that's my case.
Kill the Irishman.
Kill the Irishman. I mean,
Nice
don't.
work.
Throw him from a crag.
Please don't.
Oh, well,
All right. Well, that's
we
what for
really
the
covered a
Irish.
lot of ground for this episode.
We really did.
I
Nice
hope
work.
you find a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow.
I hope you fixate on the wonders of nature as much as we did at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah. The wonders.
We love you.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.